Welcome to this brief presentation on credit and debit card skimming awareness. I'm Ron Long, the owner of Access Investigations LLC here in Harper, Texas. I'm also a retired law enforcement officer with over 30 years of experience in investigations. A recent post on the Fredericksburg Rants and Raves Facebook page drove me to make this short video on credit card skimming. What is it? Where is it found? And some ways to spot it, and how best to protect yourself and others from becoming victims. Card skimming has been around for many years now. I personally first saw it in the late part of 1999 at a fraud investigators conference hosted by Visa and MasterCard. Its popularity with criminal organizations has only grown. So what is card skimming or shimming? It is a process of copying the digital information from a payment card without the payment card owner's consent or knowledge. This is used by criminals to steal account information, obviously, but it can also be used to sell to other organizations for financial gain. This information can be either retrieved physically from the device at a later time, or it can be instantaneously transmitted via wireless technology, or retrieved at a later date with the wireless technology as well, such as Bluetooth. Where are card skimmers used and found? They can be used any place where you use your payment card. They can be used at ATM machines, pay at the pump gas stations, even at the counter, even at the Sonic, your local drive-in, or McDonald's, any place where you use your payment card. They have actually been found, believe it or not, inside Walmart stores at the self-checkout. In this presentation, I'm going to show you one of those devices that was found in a Walmart self-checkout. So how and when are these devices installed? They can be installed many different ways. Here you'll see a video of a person installing them behind the maintenance door, the service door. The other way that's being predominantly used now, since we have security tapes on top of the doors now, is just another device placed on top of the authentic one that reads the information simultaneously when the card's used. It's most often installed at night if they're going to do the service door method. If not, they can be installed quickly. As you see here in a mall, these folks are installing one real quick. These are done on any device that is either furthest away from the store, not monitored by somebody, someplace where they can't be seen while they're doing it. But it doesn't mean it can't be done right in front of the clerk, because it just doesn't take any time at all. Okay, so how are we going to spot a skimmer? Well, in order to spot a skimmer, we just need to remain vigilant. We need to pay attention to the detail, pay attention to the surroundings, and such things such as alignment issues. If something doesn't look like it fits right, don't use that pump, move on to a different one. Mismatched logos. If the logos don't match, then you're obviously got a problem. Look at the wear of the device. If the card reader looks like it's brand new and everything else looks like it's worn, don't use it, and vice versa. If one portion of that reader looks new and the other portion looks like it's got more wear on it, don't use it. Look at the sheen. One portion of it's shiny, the other portion is not. Does it fit right? Look at it at different angles. Maybe the manufacturer used an enamel type paint, whereas the crook just used simple rattle can spray paint. Look for the seal on the door. Is that seal broken, or does it look like it's been tampered with? I'm going to show you some examples here shortly. Jiggle it. If it's loose, don't use it. Move on to the next one. The next couple slides will show you some actual devices and what to look for and what made them fraudulent. Here we see an issue with alignment. You'll notice that the alignment for this jack here, this audio jack, this is the real one down here, obviously, and here you see that one that covers kind of more towards the viewer, and that audio jack's further inset, but you'll also see that it doesn't align up exactly the way it should. This is a potential indicator. I would not use this machine when I see something like that. In fact, if you pulled on this cover here slightly, it may even pop off. If it popped off, obviously you know that that's a fraudulent device. Here, make sure to look at the security tape. The seal, this is an untampered seal. It'll say security sealed. Here you see it'll say tampered or void, a diagonal across it if somebody's peeled at it or what have you, and then just restuck it. And again, of course, the broken seal. You can notify the clerk about this. It could be anybody just fooling around with it while they're filling up their gas, but don't take any chances. Go ahead and report it and have the clerk either check it out or just move to a different pump. Here we see some ingenious skimmers that would go unnoticed if you're not paying real close attention. You notice here's the real one and here's the fake one. One thing that I didn't point out earlier, but a lot of these, they have a camera. Here's your portal for the camera. This is where your pinhole camera sees and observes the keypad over here. This was found on an ATM machine. As you can see, it just kind of pops on. Give these things a little bit of jiggle. If they pop off, it doesn't belong. And over here you see there's some cracking right here. Somebody had been prying at this, maybe installed one before, or maybe this one in fact is a fraudulent card reader. Don't use it. Just move on to another one. It's not worth it. Just move on to the next gas pump. Now this one here is the one I found the article regarding the Walmart specifically, but it doesn't have to be Walmart. It could be any store, anywhere. But this particular one here was found on a Walmart self-checkout. As you see, this looks exactly like the real one. The real one is this one right here, the photo on the right. And the fraudulent one, the fake one, the skimmer, is actually on the left. If you'll notice the differences, the fake one's wider, and this depiction here was actually made by the manufacturers of this card reader to help identify what's fraudulent, which one's authentic. So, you know, pay attention to these things. If it looks too wide, you know, it looks kind of funny, you know, don't use it. Another thing they mentioned in the article was that sometimes the pen won't fit in this little holder. It won't fit in the holder because this one's wider. So it loses its, you know, fitment. And, you know, chances are if you jiggled this, wiggled it pretty good, this thing probably popped right off. As you can see, it's just a little cover and all the electronic stuff's in there. And the other thing is there'll be a light on this one here. You'll see up here, there's not a hole for that light. You wouldn't see that light probably. And the other thing they mentioned too is sometimes the illuminated keypads with the fake one, it'll be a lot dimmer or won't even be illuminated at all. But not all of these are illuminated. So just these are some things to pay attention to. If it looks suspicious, don't use it. Again, you kind of see a trend here. These devices are being mounted on top of the real devices. You see here at this gas pump, this Chevron gas pump here on the left, upper left. You see this one's attached to that card reader, but you also notice that there's a seam right there. See that seam? Well, that seam obviously, you know, indicates that one piece meets another piece. If you give this a good jiggle, wiggle, this pops right off and notified, you know, you that that's fraudulent. Here again, same sort of thing. You see double-sided tape right here, and this crook just kind of attaches this to the face of the authentic one. The authentic ones are typically flush mounted, and the manufacturers do that so that it makes it easy for us to identify whether it is authentic or not. But again, you can give these things a jiggle. They're not supposed to move anywhere. If it moves or shakes or something, don't use it, just move on. And notify the clerk. Now here you see this one's obviously had some tampering, and this one right here they actually modified the original manufacturer design because they had to make this opening wider so they could put their device on top of the real device. Again, see the scratches up here. You'll see that it's not a manufacturer, nice, smooth, clean cut. Obviously somebody used a file or a knife, pocket knife or something to carve this thing out, and you see some other marks over here. Yes, these could be key marks where somebody's holding their keys when they put the card in. But If you look closely up here, though, that's not key marks. No, there's no reason somebody's key should be up there. They're trying to pry this out, or they are intentionally enlarging that slot there. Report it to the clerk. Once again, we see another one where this device is mounted on top of the authentic card reader. Uh, you will see that this one here had double-sided tape attached to it. A good jiggle and pull, and this thing pops right off. Again, I mentioned before, this one here has a light, and that light probably turns green when the card's inserted. And this one here has another lens on top of it, and that lens is going to diffuse, maybe even dim that light, may not even be visible. Those are some of the things to kind of look for. You may have noticed that there may be some extra seam sitting on top of this front here. If that seam's there, just give it a good tug, see what happens. If it comes off, it didn't belong there. Over here on the right, we see the keypad. This cover was placed on top of the authentic keypad. On the back here, you see the little membrane buttons. They're called membrane buttons because there's a little membrane where they meet. And over here, you see a wireless device. Well, this one here, according to the article, was designed so that when it was removed, the crook would immediately receive the information that was stored on this device. So even though it was removed, he still got the information that he sought. So they're getting more ingenious, but these are things, just kind of look for it. You're not going to, they're not going to be easily spotted, but they prey on us, our convenience, being in a hurry. Just take a little extra time at the pump. So things that you can do: if you see something, say something. Say something to the clerk. You see anyone opening a pump that does not work at the location, especially after dark, make sure to call the police or the sheriff's office. Process any charges that you have as a credit card instead of a debit. Credit cards don't require a PIN. If you have to use a PIN, cover your hand to prevent any covert cameras from seeing your PIN number entered. Use the chip on your card. The chips are there for a reason. It makes it more difficult for credit card skimmers. Every transaction has a unique encrypted token attached to it. If the skimmer got the information off your card, they won't be able to use it off that chip. If you see a suspicious transaction on your bank account, call them immediately. And always try to use the pumps closest and in direct line sight of the clerk, as those are less likely to be victimed of tampering. Other things you can do is learn about the scams, to include credit card scams and any other type of scam, identity theft scams, phone scams, and whatnot. You can do that by visiting www.consumer.ftc.gov. You can also visit the www.texasattorneygeneral.gov website to learn more about scams. If you have a complaint, if you run into a skimming operation, find one, make sure to report it, not only to law enforcement, the sheriff's office, but if you can, go ahead and report it to the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. As of 2021, they are the entity that now regulates gas pumps and stuff like that. So report that to them. The website is there on your screen here, tdlr.texas.gov/skimmers with a capital S. Anyhow, I hope this was informative, and just be cautious out there. There are crooks everywhere. Thank you.